Well, my partner and I are both disabled, and I've been having social care on and off since 1993, and I've never known it to be so dysfunctional, frankly, at the moment. My partner used to be my full-time carer, and till 18 months ago, he had a cycling accident, and I was left when he had the accident, I was left for 24 hours with no emergency social care. Fortunately, I knew a retired nurse who came in and helped me out and look after me for 24 hours, but I was just left with nothing.
Can I just ask, what does that mean? What does that actually mean to be left for 24 hours? What does that mean to you, Anne, physically in your day? What does that mean doesn't get done if you are left for 24 hours?
Help with, food. I can't cook or lift a kettle and make hot drinks, stuff like that. So I didn't, the night it happened, the afternoon that it happened, I didn't have anything to eat or drink that night. The cat wasn't fed. Things that help with showering and stuff like that. So I was just left for 24 hours, but fortunately I did manage to get a retired nurse I know, but, plenty of people wouldn't have had anybody, and I haven't got any relatives around here. And then when my partner came out of hospital after 8 months, I had to really fight with them to get an adequate care package for him to come home with, because they were trying to send him home with less of a care package than me, and he's more disabled than me now. I'm quite assertive, and I know my rights and everything. And even with that, I had such a job, and I had to I had to start saying, right, well, I'm going to contact my MP, which tends to focus their minds a bit. But, if I'd been a lot older than I am, 64, but if I'd been in my late 80s and didn't know my rights and couldn't really stand up for myself as much as I could have really been left in a mess, or not, or had a partner who was sent home with a completely inadequate care package, which wouldn't have been safe for either of us. And I had to say that to them. And I think the Prime Minister doesn't want to talk about social care because actually the Conservatives aren't planning to do anything about it. The amount of money that Grant Shapps said on the programme, $1 billion a year, is a drop in the ocean. I think that it was the King's Fund said a couple of years ago that social care needed $4 billion putting into it that year just to keep things from completely collapsing, which I think now they have done.
Well, I've got the King's Fund numbers here right in front of me. So what they were talking about was an ageing population and younger adults with disabilities living longer, and they say that this is pushing up the cost of caring. And I think they said based on the current spending, a UK funding gap of £18 billion will open up by 2030. 31. So this $1 billion a year does not seem to meet a funding deficit that is on this scale, is what the King's Fund have said.
No, it absolutely doesn't. And at the moment, the Labour policy would make a lot of difference to us, free social care for over 65s, because I'm 64, my partner's 69, and we get some help from the local authority, but we have to pay over £500 a month ourselves towards our care. So that would make a lot of difference to us and to hundreds of thousands of other people who need social care, because at the moment there's still 1.5 million older and disabled people who need social care who aren't getting it.
Although the IFS have been pretty scathing about the costings of these manifestos and just saying, look, you can promise the world, but how are you going to pay for it?
Well, I'm hoping that they will reverse some of the cuts that have been made during the last 9 years by the Conservatives and the Lib Dems together. I mean, they've absolutely slashed taxes for corporation tax, inheritance tax, capital gains tax, even the bank levy. That 2 years ago, when the King's Fund said that about they needed $4 billion for social care, I was really hoping that in the budget there would be something for social care, and there was nothing that year for social care, and yet the bank levy was cut by $4 billion. That's £4 billion they gave to the bankers who don't need cuts at all, and nothing for social care.
Okay, listen, thank you very much. And I'm sorry, life sounds like it's been really difficult for you lately. Thank you very much for calling in.